Okay, in this video we're going to be talking about quarterback ratings. A brief history about this is that it's a way to rate passers in the NFL, primarily quarterbacks. What you're doing is you're comparing multiple stats from the quarterbacks in the sense of interceptions, completions, total yardage, um, uh, completions. I think I might have said that already. But anyway, you're going to take all that information, you're going to put it into a formula, and you're going to get an overall rating. Now, just a little bit of an idea is that you work off a 0 to 158.3 scale. Obviously, the lower you are, or closer to 0 you are, the what I would consider, what you would be considered not a very efficient or good quarterback. So let's go ahead and dive into the actual formula itself. All right, so here you go. Here's our formula right here. Okay, there's quarterback ratings, and there you have the 25, 10 times the percentage of the completion, and we'll talk more about that because we're going to do an example in the in this video. Now, the thing to pay attention to is that whenever you're dealing with the percentage of touchdowns, percentage of completions, percent of interceptions, your calculator is going to give you a number that looks like this, okay? And that is the percent in decimal form. We need to make sure we convert it to actual percentage, okay? That's the one thing you need to pay attention to. Now, if I'm going to go ahead and change the slide, so if you need to stop and write this down, feel free to do so. All right, our first example is Joe Montana. Here we have his career stats, pass completions, pass attempts, so on and so forth. All right. Now I'm going to have to zoom out just so we can kind of see everything here. So, all right, here we go. Now, here's our formula. Here's our pass completions. Here's all of his stats. All right. So let me see if I can make this. There we go. Awesome. Now, let's go ahead and start writing out our formula. And it's going to be, there's our little division sign here, our fraction. And so we know we're going to divide everything by 12 because that's what the formula calls for. Now we're going to start off with 25. That's what is in the formula. 25 is non-negotiable, so to speak, plus 10 times, now here we go, the percentage of completions. Well, the completions, if you look up into our little hints up here, is the percent of completions per attempts. So the pass attempts was 5,391. The pass completions was 3,409. So off to the side here, I'm going to write a simple little division problem. 3,409 divided by 5,391. Now my calculator is going to want to put this as a decimal. And so when I divide all this out, I get 0.6323. Now this number is correct, but unfortunately you are not going to be using this exact number to go into the formula itself. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to convert this number to a percentage. So take the decimal, move it 2 places to the right, and when you do that, I'm going to go ahead and type this into my, or not put this into my problem here, and you get 63, sorry about that, you are to get 63.2. And so that's the thing that is going to be the most tricky about this formula here. All right, so 63.2%, all right, plus 40 times the touchdown percentage. So touchdown, it is touchdown passes per attempt. So that is 273 divided by 5,391. And I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but pretty much every number you're going to be dividing by the pass attempts. So our next number is going to be 5.1%. I went ahead and converted it, minus 50, and this is the percent for interceptions. So percent of interceptions, it is, let me erase this, percent of interceptions is the amount of interceptions, which is 123 over 5,391. So 139. I might have said something weird just then. 5,391. 2.6 This is your converting again to percentages. Now, the one thing that you are not going to do, and that is with the yards, okay? Notice with this yards, there's nothing that indicates percents. So there's no conversion, there's no percentage, there's nothing. And so what you're doing is just getting an average. So that the average is the average yards per attempt, which means you're taking the total yards, which is 40,551, and dividing that by the attempts, 5,391. Now remember, there is no conversion here. Do not convert. 40,000. And I got 7 point, I'm rounding 7.5%. Remember, I'm writing with my mouse here, so it may be a little messed up. All right, so here's your formula. And so all you're doing is you are going to take care of everything on the numerator. Now remember, orders of operation. Orders of operation state that you have to multiply before you can add or subtract. So that means you're going to multiply these two numbers, multiply these two numbers, these two numbers, and these two numbers, and then either add or subtract. So let's do that real quick. And when I did everything at the top, I'm going to write this off to the left-hand side just because I kind of ran out of room. I got 11 or 1,106 divided by 12. So that means my quarterback ranking when I divide all this out will be 92.2. So there is his quarterback ranking. Now going back to our history here, 0 to 158.3, because of the fact that he got it 92.2, I would say that is very good. And so, and I'm not really a football guy, but I know that's a relatively a really good passing ranking. All right, so we're going to try one more. And so rather than me talking through it, feel free to pause the video and try it yourself. Now let me get the formula back up here. Okay, this is for John Elway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start getting my formulas taken care of here. If you want to go ahead and work this, go ahead and feel free. I'm just going to be silent and just start working this. So. Everything on the top, 957 divided by 12. So when I divide all this out, I get a quarterback ranking of 79.8 rounded. So 79.8. Okay, so that's how you do the formula for quarterback ratings. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching.